Welcome to Atlanta's Commercial Real Estate Show, brought to you by Bull Realty, the show for property owners and business leaders. Host Michael Bull brings you market analysis, advice, and opportunities around Atlanta.
Welcome back. I recently had the opportunity to moderate an event at the Georgia CCIM chapter. In this segment, I'm going to share an interview I did with Larry Callahan with Pattillo Industrial Real Estate about the Atlanta and Georgia industrial market. Enjoy.
Larry, if more jobs, lower tax rates possibly for individuals means more money with consumers, and we're Americans, right? So we're going to spend it. So what does that mean for the industrial market with online sales potentially increasing?
Well, the industrial market is actually doing very well in just about every measure, especially if you're focused on the Atlanta market. These are the best of times, and we've had 19 straight quarters of positive net absorption. We've got the most new construction going on that we've had any time in more than a decade. In fact, they're all-time levels. In fact, it's been all-time levels for the last 3 years. So, it's really good times. The demand is really, really strong. So we're in a good position. But to get to Michael's question, one of the drivers why industrial is doing so well is e-commerce. The sales, the online sales, rose 11% last year. Same-store sales in department stores declined 6% during that same year. So there's clearly a movement out of the traditional chains into e-commerce. And where does e-commerce actually handle their product? They don't handle it in the mall, they handle it in industrial buildings. And there is a huge transfer of activity from the malls into warehouses. And it's a big driver of activity. Amazon themselves, during the downturn, while everybody was sitting around twiddling their thumbs wondering what to do next, Amazon was building million-square-foot buildings one after another all over the country. They built 60 or 70 of them. So, and they weren't the only ones doing it. People like Home Depot were doing it too. So there's not, Amazon is the biggest, but they're not the only one that's in e-commerce. And they are gravitating toward these big buildings. The more sales that keep happening in e-commerce, and it's likely to continue just like it has been, the more that happens, the stronger underpinning we've got for industrial activity. So I see that as being a driver that's going to be one of the things that keeps industrial strong. In fact, there's a case to be made that when there is a downturn in the economy, there may continue to be activity that's driving industrial forward as we move into figuring out how to deliver something. If you order something this morning, when do you really want it to be delivered? And the answer is probably this afternoon. And they're trying to figure out how to do that. And that's the next big wave of activity in industrial. They've built, in fact, there's a pattern that has been developing for a while here where companies like Amazon will come into a new market. They did this in Chattanooga and announced that they were going to build a 1 million-square-foot building, and everybody in Chattanooga was thrilled. And then a few months later, they announced they're going to build another one in Chattanooga, about 20 miles away. So 2 of them. And we've seen this also in other markets where they come in and they build 2 of them. So that's been huge, and everybody's been focused on that. And that's been the most active part of industrial, has been the really huge buildings. The next thing is those huge buildings are regional in focus, but if you really want to be able to deliver something that you order today, you need to have that thing stationed relatively close to the people that are going to be using it. And that's going to call for a number of satellite locations rather than million-square-foot buildings. So that's the next big thing that's happening.
And Larry, what size are those buildings typically? What do they range in? How much land do you need for those buildings? And how close do they need to be to the major cities?
Well, it's an interesting question, and it's really, everybody's been talking about it for years. It's just now really actually starting to happen, and what we're seeing is requests for an actual occupancy of buildings in the 200,000 to 300,000 square foot range. So, that 200,000 square feet is, 4 or 5 football fields under roof, so it's a fairly large building. It's not a 1 million square foot building, but that's kind of where it's dropped down to. And there is a premium on being close to airports That's one thing because of all the activity coming in and out to the e-commerce where it's being shipped overnight. So airports are one of the places where there's a lot of activity, and just close in. Industrial has a history of going to the perimeter, moving as far away from the center of a city, going out to farmland. But these type of activities are putting a premium on being close in. So those of you that represent pieces of land that are distressed, strip centers that have gone under, those are candidates to be converted to industrial buildings for e-commerce delivery.
But they need to be fairly large sites, right?
Fairly large sites. I mean, if you talk about a 200,000 square foot building in these contexts, you probably need 20 to 25 acres. And the acreage that are associated with it, a lot of these strip centers were only 10 acres, and that doesn't quite get it. But if you get a 25 or more acre site, there's real potential for conversion if those things happen to be close in and capable of serving e-commerce needs.
Well, industrial certainly has been a hot market in Georgia and all over the U.S. If you'd like help with industrial spaces investment or for your business, reach out to us. Thanks for joining us on Atlanta's Commercial Real Estate Show. Thanks to our presenting sponsor, Bull Realty, and to all of our sponsors linked below. For more Atlanta forecasts, advice, and opportunities, subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, and AtlantaCommercialRealEstateShow.com. And be sure to connect, comment, and share on your favorite social media sites.